Be careful not to overfill, then quickly flip it over. Hello everyone and welcome to the Scuffed kitchen. Today we're making vegetarian-filled quesadillas with a side of Pico de Gallo. This dish is a delicious midweek meal that, although a bit heavy, is extremely satisfying.
Nice.
Known as the Mexican grilled cheese, it's an easy to make meal for the whole family. The light and tangy Pico de Gallo we'll be making is the perfect complement to the cheese and wraps. Regarding the side dish, a Pico de Gallo is a freshly made salsa with less liquid than you'd think, and it's a great addition to Mexican cuisine. To make it, we'll need a few ingredients. A few tomatoes, 1 chili, preferably a jalapeno, but I wasn't able to find one, 1 lime, 1 small onion, a bit of cilantro, and of course salt and pepper. As always, start by sharpening your knife. Sharp knives are actually safer to use in the kitchen, as you don't have to apply as much pressure while cutting. This reduces the risk of accidents. Next, chop a couple of tomatoes into medium-sized chunks. Avoid using a flat hand like I do here, it's one of my bad habits, ignore that. Finally, put the chopped tomatoes in a large non-metal bowl. Quickly clean up the board and chop the chili next. Since I couldn't get a jalapeno, I had to make do with a generic green chili. It's tasty, but not as authentic. I recommend not removing the seeds, as they add a nice texture change and aren't too spicy, truth be told. Next, peel and dice the onion. There's no need to keep the chunks super fine, because the texture and the flavor will come out anyway. After adding the onions, it's time for the cilantro. Use all of it, including the stems, and chop the greens finely. First roll it up and then go to town. Don't over chop, however, and use a very sharp knife to avoid crushing the herbs. Add the zest and the juice of half a lime. Avoid using metal bowls, as I mentioned before, as the acidity can react with the metal and alter the flavor. Use glass or porcelain instead. Now season the salsa with salt and black pepper and give it a good mix. And there you have it, you have a tasty Pico de Gallo. Let it sit for a few minutes so the salt draws out more liquid. However, it's ready to enjoy immediately. Now, let's move on to the quesadillas. The filling ingredients, aside from the cheese and corn flour wraps, are completely optional. Use corn flour for an authentic texture and taste, and the cheese you choose should melt well. Cheddar is a solid choice, but you can also use Monterey Jack or similar cheeses. The filling will be a vegetarian mix today. I opted for golden corn, kidney beans, cilantro, a red bell pepper, tomato, and a bit of lime juice. I'll also be adding onion and garlic. Today I'll start by making my own Mexican spice blend, but if you're lazy, it's also completely fine to buy taco seasoning or something similar. I'm not your boss, if it tastes well, who's gonna judge you? For my blend I'll be using black pepper, dried onion flakes, cumin, cayenne pepper, smoked paprika, oregano and salt. The easiest way to grind all of this up and mix it well is to use a coffee or spice grinder. To do that, just add everything, add the lid, and give it a couple of pulses. Alternatively, just use a mortar and pestle. Oh my, after lifting the lid I can immediately tell that I at least nailed the spice mix here. The aroma is exactly what I had in mind before making it. It is now time to grate the cheese. You could go for pre-shredded cheese, however, keep in mind that is powdered with an anti-caking agent in the package so it doesn't stick together, which will inevitably change how it melts later in the pan. Anyway, after grating, this is what it should look like. Individual shreds of cheddar. Very nice. Now it's time to do the final preparations for the filling. Peel and finely dice the onion, roughly chop the tomato, and cut a quarter of the bell pepper. Remove the white part here in the center as it is a bit bitter. Don't forget to crush the garlic. I use a garlic press, so all I need to do is give the cloves a quick whack, peel them and add them to the press. After a few turns, I have what I want. Take the fragrant garlic and set it aside for later. Now it is time to cook. Heat a pan over medium-high heat. Add a bit of neutral vegetable oil, then the onions, and cook until slightly translucent. Add the garlic, but stir constantly to prevent it from burning and becoming bitter. Once everything is fragrant, add the bell pepper and reduce the heat to medium. Let everything slowly soften. Then add the tomato, give it a quick stir and let it sweat for a while. Once you're satisfied, add the corn and beans. Immediately put in a good amount of the spice blend we prepared and coat everything evenly. Add a splash of water if there's not enough liquid, and then add a squeeze of lime juice for a little bit of an extra flavor. All that's left for the filling is to cover the pan and let everything cook until it comes together. Once done, set the mixture aside. We will fill the quesadillas with it later. And when I say later, I mean right now. Heat a medium-sized pan without oil over medium heat. Add 1 tortilla. Then coat the bottom of the quesadilla with a generous amount of cheese, followed by the filling, a bit of cilantro and another layer of cheese to hold the top tortilla in place. Traditionally, you would fill only half and fold it over, but I find it easier to portion the whole quesadilla in this way. Be careful not to overfill, then quickly flip it over. Honestly, I am surprised this worked as well as it did, considering my earlier test batch was a complete and utter mess after the flipping. Take care that the bottom tortilla does not get burnt. The quesadilla is done when the cheese is fully melted and the outsides are crispy. Remove everything from the pan and cut it into slices. As you can see here, the cheese slightly oozes, which is the ideal consistency. Also, note that this slice is thin and very easy to hold. All that's left is plating everything up. Serve with a generous heap of Pico de Gallo on the side, and you're done. A quick taste test confirms that this is absolutely delicious. The richness of the cheese and the delightful filling make for a very satisfying bite. Paired with the crunchy texture of the tortilla and the tangy Pico de Gallo that cuts through the fat of the cheese, it is truly exceptional and so easy to make. And with that, we're done for today. If you have other great ideas for fillings, please leave a comment and like the video. Subscribe for more recipes and see you guys next time!